Hello, this is a review of CrossWays, the board game that we see here. So it comes in a box that we saw here, and out of the box, of course, you get the board. You get 4 colors of pieces, so you can play with 2 to 4 players or teams. So you can play with 8 people, supposedly with teams. You get a double deck of cards and a manual. And by the way, the instructions are really nice and clear. They're really nice, large text, colorful. They give you straight, clear pictures. So as far as what you usually read the inside of the box for things, you know, the text is kind of hard to read. It was really nice. They have nice, clear instructions for exactly how to play. So basically you're going to end up building to try to make a connection from one side of the board to the other. It could be from top to bottom, it could be from left to right. The whole point is you have to go horizontal or vertical in any snake that you want, just not diagonally. You can't cut diagonally, you're going to have to go around the corner instead of cutting over the corner. And there's a bunch of other customizations. They even suggest a number of optional rules that you could use to follow, but you can even take it well beyond that. So it's a fairly flexible game to do a whole lot of other different ways to make it more challenging or however that you want. So let's take a quicker look at the mechanics of the game as well. So you basically start out with dealing, if you're playing with normal individual people instead of teams, you do 5 cards apiece. So for example, I've handed out 5 cards to myself and 5 cards to the person across from me. Now I left this set up from a last game that I actually just finished playing with someone, just to give you an example. So this isn't literally the play cards that we had, it was the game that we had finished. But so it was just 2 people. It was yellow versus purple over there, and you can kind of see what happened. So in this case, I got lucky, I won. I'm the yellow that followed the path that you see over there. Purple almost got to me, except I built a nice little blockade here for them in the middle. So that's pretty much what stopped the person I was playing against from breaking around. I kept trying to block them. So you can actually play defensively, you can play aggressively. There's different ways to play. It comes down to sometimes the luck of the cards, but there's a little bit of strategy involved, but not too heavy. For those of you who really liked games like Sequence, I don't know if you know this game, but it's a board game that's based on cards as well, about trying to get 5 in a row. I really loved that game. My wife and I played that a whole lot. This is kind of a similar in that vein. So again, we get 5 cards apiece, and basically you get 1 play per turn. And how you do that, you can play any single card. So let's say I could play the 4. A 4 is a red card, and there's different black and red spaces on the board. So here's a black 4. So if I chose to play my red 4, I couldn't play on the black, but I can play on the red 4. So there's 2 of each spaces out there, and there's some white spaces. But I would, if I played that during the turn, I could place it there or the other 4 on the board. And if you get pairs or triples or quadruples, if you get more, so I have a pair of 9s, with this, if I play this on my next turn, you can place 2 pegs anywhere you want on the board. So this one's kind of, these are really good to have, of course, so that you can quickly get to where you want to go. So like when I won this game, I had like these 2 spaces done, and I said, yep, I win. That's kind of, so it's really nice to have doubles. You have another kind where you have a sequence. Now these are a run, they call them. When you have in the same suit 2 of the, in sequence, king and queen in this case here, this will let you remove 2 pieces. So I can say, uh-oh, thwart their effort. I can go remove these 2, and suddenly they're much further off than they could. Now you can, if I had 3 cards in a row, I could play those and I could remove 3. If I had 3 of a kind instead of 2 of a kind, I could play 3 pieces instead of 2 pieces. The only other thing to be aware of is you can stack things, so you can play on top of other people. As you see we've done there. It's not a problem at all. The height doesn't actually matter, so I was still able to connect even though that I'm on top. So it's not like you have to be the bottom row versus the top row. But when anyone plays 2, this blocks anyone else from playing on top of you. So if I have this, purple could not have done this. This is an illegal move to do that. So you can use this as a blockade. So that's why I had built some of these. I had just the right cards at the right time to block the progress from them making a connection from the left side to the right side. But you can see the point of that. They can still remove these, by the way. Remember, if you get 2 things in a row like this, if that person got it, they could have taken out my thing, and then in the next turn might be able to play there. So we talked about how you can get pairs to play 2 of anything. You can do 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind. You can get 3 pegs, 4 pegs. And, you know, you get to play 1 play per turn. So I can't play down all 5 of these all at once. I have to choose what I'm going to do on a particular turn, just to give you an idea of what's going on there. Now, I've only played one-on-one with my wife, and again, we really liked it. It was very similar to our experience with Sequence. They tend to be rather fast games with two people. Sometimes they run longer just because the luck. If somebody gets a whole lot of pairs, that goes a heck of a lot faster. But that's where you can start to customize the rules. Some custom rules could say only the thing on top counts. So if these were instead of this order, if they had played on top, they suddenly blocked me, and I'd have to find another way. Oh, and white spaces, by the way, you can only place 2 at a time on them. So that's you can't ever place 1 because there's no card, but once you have a pair like I had there, I could have then chose to play on any white space. So that's the significance of the white spaces. Honestly, we don't really use the white spaces yet in our current play style. But they move pretty fast. There's not tons of strategy, but it's enough thinking that it's not completely randomness. But I think it's a fun, quick game to play. My wife and I like it. Let's run through a few hands so that you get an idea. So I've dealt myself 5 cards that we see here. So we look at what I got here, and I can say, well, gee, let's say I decide I want to play the 4. So I'm going to discard. You discard 1 play at a time. I'm going to play on the black 4 because let's say I'm going to decide I'm going to try to go that way across the board. And then I take 1 new card at the time, and here we go here. And I say, oh, great. Now the other person would get their turn. So let's say they went and they just drew that card and happened to go there. Just to give an example, I happen to draw a 10 and I go, oh, great, that's right in line where I'm trying to go. So I'm going to discard that. I'm going to place that there. I'm going to draw another card because my turn is over. Oh, good. Look at that. I got nothing special with that, but I see I got a pair, so that's going to be lucky when I get going again. So again, the other person would go with their turn. Let's say they happen to end up with that. Then it's my turn again. So I look down and I say, gee, what do I have that's in the path where I want? Well, the red ace is kind of in the line of where I want to go, so I go there. Let's say the other person took their turn, went there. And then now I say, now it's time, I'm going to use my pair. So I have the 2 5s that we see here, and I'm going to discard those. And remember, I can place 2 pegs now. So where do we want to place them? So I'm probably going to want to help move myself forward so I can start moving that way across the board. Now remember, you don't have to go from this side to that side. You can go from this side to that side, and you don't even have to decide when you start. I can start over here, and maybe I ended up connecting here. Now I can go this way or that way. It's any which way you want. Remember, I could have decided I want to put the 2 on that space there with the 2, and then you draw 2 cards for the 2 that I had just done. And now, let's see, ooh, great, I drew a king, so that's another double that I'll do, but it's the other person's turn. So let's say they got an 8. They might choose to play on top of me for any reason. Again, we're not playing with the custom rules that says only top person counts, so even I still have my space there. So I'm going to play my 2 kings. That lets me play 2 again. And let's say I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here. I'm starting to build kind of like a straight line. Now it's their turn. Let's say they go, and they play a remove card. They can remove 2 pieces. So they can go ahead and thwart me just like that. Moving along again, I go down here, and I go, oh, great, I got a pair of 7s. I'm going to play my two 7s. Lets me play 2 pieces again. So moving along. Now, I'd be 1 away if they didn't just remove 2 of my pieces as well. So let's try this once more, and let's see. They can go their turn. Let's say they decided to play on top of me there. But you get the gist, I think, as we go here. I could keep playing, but the whole idea is you can see we're just picking up a few cards and doing runs, single cards, or pairs, or more cards of them if needed. Thanks for watching the review.